Good day, ladies and gentlemen, your gun doctor here. Today we're going to talk about the Sykov and the surprise nerf. They said they're going to do something, and they actually did something, and that in an absolute short amount of time. Let me tell you how to build the Sykov now, what exactly is nerfed, and if the gun is still viable or not. What essentially happened is the Sorokin now increases hipfire spread a little bit more. The Akimbo Sykov has a movement speed reduction of 5%. And then the 80 round drum mag also has a movement speed reduction of another 5% and an ADS movement speed reduced by 7%. So you're going to move like a sluggish snail as soon as you equip this. But most importantly, when equipped the Sykov with the Sorokin 140mm auto and Akimbo, damage is reduced by 25%. Here on the right side, there's the added. When equipped, the Sykov with the Sorokin and Akimbo is reduced by 25% and capped at a minimum at 19. Which means that any form of Akimbo Sykov is now weaker by 25%. That is still viable though. It is still absolutely working, but it ain't that crazy broken anymore. Especially now you're not ultra fast. And that is really a big role when you're playing Akimbo. Because when you're playing Akimbo, you got to move smart. You got to close up to your opponent and you got to get into their face. Because on a 20-meter range, these pistols are not good. So you got to get close up and personal to a person to hurt them. And with the extreme movement speed reduction, yes, you can still play it exactly this way. And yes, you can still play with a 20-round mag because Akimbo is the damage reduction. So if you play the Sykov exactly like we used to play, and that would be with a Sorokin 5mW 80 round drum mag, Akimbo, and muzzle brake, it is still viable and it's still good, but it has minus 25% of the damage reduction it has. Now we're talking of an Akimbo TTK from 307 milliseconds to 409 milliseconds. Thank you, JGoff, for providing that data. The single Sykov can still kill in 477 milliseconds. So the Akimbo still has a very great time to kill, but an insane slow movement speed. Now is obviously the question, can you still handle this? That is down to your personal playstyle and how you go for it. But you'll just have to know that now with the Sykov, you'll be having a harder problem zooming over the battlefields and also clapping your opponents, then close quarter combat, because you can't close these important distances. I think that's where double time might be coming in handy, that you actually extend the range of your tactical sprint. So if you're going for this, double time doubles the duration of tactical sprint and increases your crouch movement speed by 30%, which might be an option now with the pistols to then be able to close this distance better and get into your opponent's face faster to then utilize these guns. That's how I would say the Sykov makes more sense then to play it the old way. Again, why the muzzle brake over the monolithic? Because the monolithic only gives you 1 meter more effective damage range and some bullet velocity, which is completely useless, whereas the muzzle brake clusters your shots more vertically together. And no, there is no special grip that gives you insane recoil control of minus 40%. That doesn't exist, I'm sorry. When we're talking about a single Sykov, you can take the Akimbo off, boom. You're upgrading the damage by 25%. I've been playing it more or less like this, but I put off the 5mW laser too because I'm not going to be hip firing this version anymore. I always aim down side speed. I put on the GI mini reflex to be able to have a bonus accuracy. I've been playing multiple versions of this. I've been trying out the VLK lead, and it turns out for me that often the tag laser is really good to just have this decent ADS time, or that you can actually play the carabine or the scout stock. Both are nice, but remove the movement speed even more, and you kind of don't want to have that. So for me, it was the tag laser to just be able to ADS fast, boom, and then beam, boom, and then beam, boom, and then beam. And that has worked tremendously fine for me. Also, you can go for the Prizig because that gives you sprint to fire speed to then be able to sprint to fire faster in. But if you're going for the Prizig, you might also go for the 5mW for then even more sprint to fire speed because you might hip fire this in the one or the other scenario. So that's just down to your personal preference here. If you feel like you're still hip firing the gun a lot, then you can definitely go for the 5mW. If you feel like you only ADS, the tag laser is the better option. Now let's watch some gameplay examples of the Akimbo Sykov still being viable. And as you can see, your time to kill is good. It's not absolutely insane, but it does exactly what it did before without now feeling completely broken. I've been running around in Storage Town to really see, does the gun still work with double time this time? So in order to be able to close up to your opponents, I've been using double time as we mentioned. And as you can see here, the gun still slabs, but it's far from being absolutely borderline broken. You're good to go to still play this Akimbo. Nothing has changed apart from it being completely OP. This might be the first time that Raven Software actually balanced a gun. As you've seen in the gameplay example, the gun is still working without being completely broken. I tried also the single Sykov. It is as good as it used to be before. Very important though on the single Sykov, you need to hit upper body to headshots to really get the most out of it, to get the insane time to kill, to be like on the level with a Fafar. Then if you start hitting arm and leg shots, that's going to be very unfortunate for you. So aim for that chest and clap these jimmies down. But now the Akimbo Sykov is still working as good as it was. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Use double time. There's no reason to not use it when you're playing as that slow movement speed gun. Also, on top of that, I would advise you to use an AR that is rather fast, because usually you would whip out your Sykovs to run with your Sykovs when you're in the open, because your pistol is the fastest movement speed. But as we know that the Cold War rifles actually generally have a faster movement speed what Modern Warfare has to offer. So if you want to play the Sykov, for example, together with an M16 or an AUK, that would be fantastic, because the gun is going to be an absolute fast movement monster that you can then just zoom over the battlefield with, while you then have the Sykov whipped out for close quarter engagements to then counter whoever is close to you. But as long as you're outside in the open, obviously have then your AR or your sniper rifle out to then move faster. If you're playing this, for example, together with a PKM, which is one of the slowest moving rifles in the Warzone, obviously that won't work. Ladies and gentlemen, what do your personal tests say so far? Is the Sykov for you still viable? Do you think it's nerfed to the ground? Are you not going to ever touch it again? For me, it is still currently one of the most fun close quarter combat options. Just having these pistols with an 80 round mag, going out, beaming people is absolutely tremendous fun, and I'm enjoying it to the max. I know the gun is annoying and we all hate to see the Sykov to a certain degree, but now that it's actually balanced, it's kind of fine to play. Because yes, you're still strong, but yes, also Akimbo has a range problem where you actually have to close up. And this is the most important thing when you're playing Akimbo, and that's what I see a lot of people fail at. You need to always jump forward, close the distance, get to your opponent. You need to move smart throughout a building, because if you're moving stupid in the building, you're going to be at the one end of the corridor, he's going to be at the other end of the corridor, and his gun just outranges you. A Fennec, a FAR, an MP5 even, an MP7, all these guns outrange you easily when you're caught in the open with this gun and you don't react properly according to it. Bait your opponent to come close to you. You're caught in the open, but you have something to hide behind. Hide behind. Let them come closer. They don't come closer. Good for you. You can stun and push up, or you can use your M16 AUK whatsoever to then beam them. But never try to run through the open, close the distance, brain dead, to then get to them. Because if they catch you in the open, if you got caught in this 20-meter distance, that's where you completely useless with the Sykov. You need to get 15 meters and below, optimal 10 meters and below, obviously. But if you're not in this 15-meter range, good gracious Christ, you're gonna get beamed out of life. Definitely drop me in the comments below. How do you feel playing these guns now? Is the movement speed a limitation? Did you know about double time? Double time is being the vibe. Absolutely good to have the Sykov back now and be able to play this without feeling like a scummy meta abuser. Thanks for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. That was double video day, kind of stressful to actually pump 2 videos out per day and then even live stream for another 8 hours. But I'm really excited that we actually have this happening and that Raven Software reacted so fast. Sad part though is that the FAR didn't get nerfed, so they reacted so super fast to nerf the Sykov, which was obviously broken, but now the FAR is still unnerfed. Makes no sense for me. That being said, at least they took care of the Sykov. Don't forget to subscribe for more Season 3 meta up and coming. We'll definitely drop you straight away the top loadouts on the new sniper rifle Swiss K31, the PBH, and all the others. Gonna level them up, gonna get them, gonna max level them, and then just show you what these guns have to offer and how hard you can destroy with them left and right. Yes, as always, all updated loadouts and everything in every video, Twitter feed, whatsoever is going to land on warzoneloadouts.gg with then the according video to it that you're not going to miss anything anymore. Don't worry, I got your back. That's your source of loadouts where you can find everything. And as always, you can just pop it out, share your loadout, and put the link up to your friends so they know what you're playing. And if they have any questions, they can just come here and ask the gun doctor. As always, enjoy your day. Have a great time in Verdansk. Now, Sykov free, or at least not Sykov overpowered.